Hello everyone. In one of our previous videos, we have discussed Eliot's essay Tradition and Individual Talent. We have seen that the essay is divided into three parts. The first part of the essay gives us Eliot's concept of tradition, and in the second part, he developed his theory of impersonality of poetry. And the second part is short, and in this part, he discussed the nature of conclusion or summing up of the whole discussion. In the second part, we have seen that he developed his theory of impersonality. His theory of impersonality marks a complete break from the 19th century tradition. What is this 19th century tradition from which Eliot shows marks a complete break? This theory of romantic tradition is that there is an expression of personal emotions, personal feelings of a poet is the poetry. But Eliot rejected the romantic theory that all art is basically an expression of the artist's personality. He rejects this expression of personality of artists, and we can discuss our Eliot's theory of impersonality of poetry in these following headings. We have seen that uh, Eliot rejects the subjectivism and he stresses on objectivity of poetry. Eliot's theory of poetry marks a complete break from the 19th century tradition. He rejected the romantic theory that all art is basically an expression of the artist's personality and that the artist should create according to the dictates of his own inner voice without owing allegiance to any outside authority. In his essay on the function of criticism, he tells us that writing according to the inner voice means writing as one wishes. He rejects this romantic subjectivism and emphasizes the value of objective standards, and he reacts against subjectivism of the romantics. Eliot advocated his famous theory of the impersonality of poetry. He recognized the dangers of unrestricted liberty and felt that granted such license there would be only fitful and transient bursts of literary brilliance. Now we see the passion for form, unification of sensibility. According to Eliot, passion for poetry requires unification of sensibility. So, unification of sensibility is required in the creation of poetry. Thus, Eliot demands an objective authority of art, and in this way, his theory of poetry approximates to that of the classics. Rejecting the Romantic theory and the Romantic tradition, he emphasizes that the classics achieved an elegance and dignity absent from the popular and pretentious works of the Romantic poets. In one of his essays, he writes that the difference between the two schools is that between the complete and the fragmentary, he adult and the immature, the orderly and the chaotic. This shows Eliot's appreciation of the order and completeness of his classical poetry, qualities which he tried to achieve in his own practice as a poet. Now, we see that Eliot favors the sense of tradition, or in other terms, we can say historical sense, the poetic process. In the creation of poetry, a poet should have sense of history. He should know previous works created in the literature. So, sense of tradition or historical sense is required for the creation of poetry. The impersonal element, the edition, the sense of tradition, or the historic sense must be acquired by the poet. He must develop or procure the consciousness of the past, and that he must develop the consciousness of the past throughout his career. A poet must develop the consciousness of the past throughout his career. Some will acquire it more easily, while others have to sweat for it. It is easy for some people or some poets to acquire historical sense or to develop historical sense, but all must acquire it, for great art is not possible without this sense of tradition. Thus, Eliot emphasizes painstaking effort through which the poet must equip himself for his task. Inspiration is not enough, perspiration too is necessary. In this, now we will see what is dynamic conception of tradition for Eliot. Eliot gives his dynamic conception of tradition in his essay. According to Eliot, the literary tradition constantly grows, changes, and becomes different. When a really great work of art is created, the whole existing order is altered. In this way, the past is ordered by the present, and the present is directed by the past. The historic sense or the sense of tradition implied that the poet is conscious not only of the pastness of the past but of its presence. The historical sense compels a man to write not merely facts but with his own generation in his bones, but with the feeling that the whole of the literature of Europe from Homer down to the present day, and within it the whole of literature of his own country, has a simultaneous existence and composes a simultaneous order. What is theory of impersonality of poetry? T.S. Eliot reacted against Wordsworth's theory that poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. All of us know this definition very well, that according to Wordsworth, poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, or that poetry has its own origin in emotions reflected in tranquility. Eliot advances his theory of impersonality of poetry, and he observes that poetry is not a turning loose of emotion but an escape from emotion. It is not an expression of personality but an escape from personality. So by these lines, Eliot completely rejects this theory of Wordsworth. The greatest art is objective, according to Eliot. The more perfect the artist, the more completely separate in him will be the man who suffers and the mind which creates. As a matter of fact, the poet has no personality. He is merely a receptacle, a shred of platinum, a medium which fuses and combines feelings and impressions in a variety of ways. Now, what what should be the themes of poetry, and what is the intensity of the themes of poetry? Thus, poetry is not concerned with personal emotion. It is cleared by Eliot. Even imagined experiences will do. The poet's imagination can work as well upon what he has experienced as on what he had heard. Further, Eliot points out that it is wrong to suppose that poetry is concerned merely with beauty. The subject of poetry is life, with all its horror, its boredom, and its glory. Means poetry shows everything that happens in real life. It shows horror, boredom, and glory of life. It does not dwell upon only on beauty. It is the poet's consciousness of the situation, the human predicament, which has been the same in all ages. Human predicament occurs in every age, which should inspire poetic creation. Human predicament also inspires poetic creation. If the poet's sense of his own is intense enough, he will be able to pierce beneath the superficial differences between one age and another and realize the sameness of human life in all ages. Then he will realize the horror, the ugliness, as well the glory of life and communicate it to his readers. So it is the intensity of the poetic process and not the romantic spontaneity which is the important thing. Now, how a poet can depersonalize his emotions or theory of objective correlative that is included sorry, the concept of objective correlative that is included in this theory of impersonality. Further, poet Eliot points out that the poet can achieve impersonality and objectivity by finding some objective correlative for his emotions. He defines objective correlative as a set of objects, a situation, a chain of events which shall be the formula for some particular emotion of the poet. Thus, Milton could find a perfect objective correlative for the release of personal emotions in the story of Samson. Eliot himself uses European literature, ancient myths, and legends as objective correlative in his poetry. Such depersonalization of emotion is the test of great poetry, according to T.S. Eliot. Now we see the functions of poetry. As regards the function of poetry, Eliot suggests that the poet is an artist whose primary function is to maintain the pattern of tradition as well as to redesign it by his own creation. No doubt, poetry is a superior amusement, but primarily the purpose of poetry is neither to please nor to instruct. The poet is involved with the past and the future. With the future, because he is assuring the continuance of tradition, and therefore for art, with the past, because he must explore and study the tradition as well as modify it, and in this way transmit it to the future. His search is to it, and in this way transmit it to the future, discover again what has been found before, and to adapt it to contemporary needs. The critic Eliot does not totally reject the cultural function of poetry, but in this connection his views have a religious bias. A critic of Eliot's works, A.G. George, comments on the Eliot's this essay. Eliot's impersonal theory of poetry is the greatest theory on the nature of poetic process after Wordsworth's romantic conception of poetry. Thank you.